Hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Collin Whiteman. Today I'm here to talk about the impact that Jesus has had on my life as I get ready to take this next step in baptism. To give you some background, I grew up in a Christian family, but we were never really involved in the church. For the most part, we were church attenders, but never discussed Jesus outside of Sunday mornings. Also, we were not consistent in our church attendance and often had long stretches where we weren't attending church. Having this type of Christian background, I grew up learning many values that are very virtuous, but never ultimately tied them back to Christ. Because of this, I grew up self-righteous and prideful of my own accomplishments and based my identity solely on that. I had no reliance on Christ and had a distorted view of the gospel. Instead of recognizing my daily dependence on the Lord, I often viewed the gospel story almost like fire insurance for the ultimate day of judgment. You can see how troubling this is, as I had both a false security of my salvation and an unchanged heart. As I reflect now, even though I always would have called myself a Christian, I did not fully give my life to Christ until I moved here to Cincinnati 2.5 years ago. Shortly after moving to Cincinnati, I had a series of trouble with work and family that ultimately left me anxious, guilty, and exhausted. During this time period, I slowly realized that I needed to place my identity in something stronger than my own worldly accomplishments. Fortunately, Christ was always close to me, even whenever I wasn't pursuing him. So I want to praise God for his faithfulness in that moment and thank him for ultimately leading me to place my identity in him in that moment. Since then, I want to thank the Lord for his continued faithfulness as he brought many people into my life that ultimately taught me what it looked like to live as a Christian. Many of you are here today and you know who you are. And while I recognize that I'm ultimately still sinful, I thank God for his continued patience in my sanctification process. I've seen so much fruit since choosing to identify with Christ, and it is far better than any worldly accomplishment that I could ever have. And I look forward to continue growing in my faith.
Responsibility to ask you who is Lord of your life. Jesus Christ. Well then, it is my joy to baptize you, my brother, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.